You're live to 4 million people, bro. Ethan Pierce stood in the middle of Dubai Marina, one designer shoe off, screaming into his phone. Behind him, a matte black Ferrari sat dead. Hazard lights blinking like a heartbeat. $500,000, and this Italian trash won't even start. Ferrari is done. Done. The crowd of influencers and trust fund kids roared. Phones aimed like weapons. This was content gold. That's when an old Ford pickup rolled up slow, engine rattling like loose change in a can. Out stepped a man in a grease-stained shirt, toolbox in one hand, phone in the other, mid-40s, tired eyes, but shoulders that carried heavier things than car parts. Need a hand? Ethan turned, saw the pickup, saw the shirt, saw the skin color, and his grin spread wide. Oh, this is perfect. Guys, look, a real mechanic showed up. He pointed at the man like he was a zoo animal. What's your name, boss? Malik. Malik. You think you can fix my Ferrari, Malik? The crowd snickered. Someone whispered, he probably drives a Corolla. Malik glanced at the car, then back at Ethan. Might be able to. What's wrong with it? Ethan threw his arms up. I don't know. That's why I need a mechanic. You gonna help or not? Malik set his toolbox down. What's in it for me? Ethan's eyes lit up. This was the moment. He could feel the views climbing. Tell you what, Malik, you get this car started in 5 minutes. No tow truck, no dealership. I'll pay you $10,000. Cash. Right now. The crowd gasped. Chat exploded. Malik didn't react. And if I can't? Ethan stepped closer, smelling like cologne and arrogance. You apologize on camera for wasting my time, and you pay me $1,000 for the inconvenience. Someone in the crowd whispered, that's not fair. He's just trying to help. But Malik raised a hand. Deal. Ethan blinked. Wait, seriously? Malik was already walking toward the Ferrari. Start the timer. Ethan laughed, pure disbelief. Yo, someone time this. 5 minutes. Go. Malik popped the hood. The crowd pressed closer, phones recording from every angle. Ethan kept talking to his live. Guys, this is insane. If he actually pulls this off, I'm out 10 grand. But he won't. This car is custom tuned, twin turbo, race spec. You need a laptop just to read the error codes. Malik's voice, calm as dawn. Sir, when was the last time you filled a tank? Ethan froze. What? Malik pointed under the hood. Fuel pump's getting voltage. But there's no pressure. Gauge says empty. The crowd went quiet. Ethan stammered. I filled it 2 days ago. Dubai summer heat evaporates fuel fast if the cap's loose. Your fuel cap's hanging open. Malik held it up. Bright red. Dangling. Someone in the crowd whispered, no way. Ethan's face turned pink. That's not. Someone must have. Malik walked to his truck, pulled out a small fuel can, poured exactly 2 liters into Ferrari's tank. Then he got in the driver's seat, turned the key. The engine roared to life. Smooth. Perfect. Angry Italian symphony. The crowd erupted. Malik stepped out, closed the hood gently, and stood in front of Ethan. 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Ethan's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Malik held out his hand. 10,000. Ethan's live chat was on fire. Pay him. He just got destroyed. Ferrari broke 'cause you're dumb LMAO. Ethan tried to laugh it off. Bro, I was obviously joking. Malik didn't move. You made a bet. 4 million people heard it. You want to play it back? Ethan glanced at his phone. 4.3 million viewers now. All waiting. His voice cracked. I don't have 10,000 on me right now. Malik tilted his head. Wire transfer. I'll wait. The crowd started chanting. Pay him! Pay him! Ethan, hand shaking, pulled out his phone, opened his banking app. Malik gave him a number. 30 seconds later, Malik's phone buzzed. $10,000 received. Malik nodded once. Pleasure doing business. He turned to leave. Ethan, desperate to save face, shouted, Wait! What's your shop? I'll leave you a 5-star review. Malik stopped, looked back. I don't have a shop. Then where do you work? Malik smiled. First time all night. I used to work at Ferrari. Engineering division. Maranello, Italy. 12 years. The crowd went dead silent. Malik continued. Design the fuel system on the 488 Pista. That's how I knew your cap was loose without even looking at the gauge. Ethan's face drained of color. You design my car? Malik got in his truck. I designed 50 cars you'll never own. Learn some respect. It'll save you more than 10,000 one day. He drove off slow, engine rattling, toolbox in the back. Ethan stood frozen, live still running. 4.8 million people watching him realized he just paid the man who invented his car to fix his own stupidity. Someone in the crowd whispered what everyone was thinking. That man just became a legend. And somewhere in the comments, buried in a flood, one line appeared. Who is Malik Coleman? By Monday morning, the question would become a wildfire, and the answer would change everything. The matte black Ferrari's taillights disappeared around the curve. Ethan Pierce stood barefoot in the middle of Dubai Marina, phone in one hand, designer shoe in the other, watching 4.7 million people witness the exact moment his entire life changed. Someone in the crowd whispered, "Did that just happen?" Ethan's friend, Tyler, stepped closer, phone still recording. "Bro, you good?" Ethan didn't answer. He was staring at his own live chat, scrolling too fast to read. But the words kept repeating. "He owned you. Career over. Legend just born." Tyler laughed nervously. "Come on, man, it's just a car." "Yeah, like 3 more. Ethan's voice came out flat, distant. "That was my favorite one." Tyler stopped laughing. Ethan's hands were shaking now, not from anger, from something deeper. The kind of shake that comes when you realize you just made a mistake you can't undo in front of millions of people. He ended the live. Silence. The crowd, sensing the show was over, started drifting away. Phones down. Whispers turned to jokes. "Yo, he really gave away $500,000. Imagine explaining that to your dad." Ethan stood there for another 30 seconds, then walked to his G-Wagon, got in, and sat in the driver's seat while starting the engine. Tyler knocked on the window. "Ethan?" No response. Tyler's phone buzzed, then buzzed again, then exploded with notifications. He opened Instagram. The video was already everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube Shorts. 8 million views in 20 minutes. And then he saw it. A new account. No profile picture. No bio. Just one post. Username, Malik Coleman _official. The post. A photo of the Ferrari parked outside a small, dimly lit garage. Garage door half open. Tools hanging on the walls. A single light bulb swinging slightly. Caption, asterisk, "Thanks for the gift, Ethan. She's home now." Asterisk, no hashtags. No tags, no bragging, just a photo, and in 12 minutes, it had 4.2 million likes. Next morning, 7:43 a.m., Ethan woke up to 347 missed calls. His manager, his sponsors, his father. He ignored all of them and opened Instagram. Follower count, 4.2 million. Yesterday it was 4.2 million. Today, 3.9 million. 300,000 people unfollowed him overnight. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the comments on his last post. A photo of him standing next to Ferrari 2 days ago. Caption, asterisk, Italian perfection. Asterisk, top comment, 89K likes. Asterisk, the guy who built that car just took it back. You never deserved it. Asterisk, second comment, 72K likes. Asterisk, Malik Coleman, Ethan Pierce. It's not even close. Asterisk, Ethan threw his phone across the room. It didn't break. He wished it had. 8:30 a.m. Ferrari dealership, Sheikh Zayed Road. Ethan walked in wearing sunglasses and a hoodie. Trying to be invisible. Didn't work. The receptionist looked up, recognized him immediately, and her smile froze. "Mr. Pierce, can I help you?" Ethan pulled the pink slip from his pocket and slid it across the counter. "I need to report a stolen vehicle." The receptionist blinked. "Stolen?" "The Ferrari Pista. Black. License." "Sir, that car wasn't stolen. It was transferred. I didn't authorize any transfer." She looked at her computer, typed something, then her face changed. "One moment." She picked up the phone, whispered something, hung up. 2 minutes later, Mr. Hassan, the dealership manager, walked out. Mid-50s, sharp suit, the kind of man who'd seen every rich kid meltdown imaginable. He gestured toward his office. "Mr. Pierce, let's talk privately." Hassan closed the door, sat behind his desk, and pulled up something on his screen. "I saw the live last night." Ethan said nothing. Hassan turned the monitor. "The transfer is complete. Legal. Binding. Signed by you. I didn't sign anything. You made a verbal contract witnessed by 4.7 million people. And then you handed over the keys on camera." Ethan leaned forward. It was a joke. Everyone knew it was a joke. Hassan tilted his head. Did Malik Coleman know it was a joke? Silence. Hassan continued. Because from where I'm sitting, he honored your terms. He fixed the car in under 5 minutes. You gave him the keys. He drove away. End the transaction. Ethan's voice cracked. You're saying there's nothing I can do? Hassan leaned back. I'm saying you made a bet you couldn't afford to lose, and you lost it in front of the whole world. He paused, then added quietly. And for what it's worth, you lost it to the wrong guy. Ethan frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Hassan hesitated, then pulled up something else on his screen. An old article. Italian newspaper. 2013. Headline. Ferrari engineer walks out after patent dispute. Claims company erases name from designs. Photo. A younger Malik Coleman standing outside Ferrari headquarters in Maranello, holding a box of his belongings. Ethan stared. Hassan spoke softly. That man designed half the cars you've ever posted about, including the one you just gave him. Ethan's throat went dry. He worked for Ferrari? He didn't just work there. He built their reputation, and they buried him for it. Hassan closed the article. So when you mocked him on camera last night, you didn't just insult a mechanic. You insulted a legend who's been invisible for 12 years. Ethan stood up, legs weak. I didn't know. That's the problem, Mr. Pierce. You never do. Later that afternoon, Ethan's apartment. Ethan sat on his couch, staring at his phone. Malik's post now had 9 million likes. And the comments, this man is a king. Ethan who? Malik Coleman just saved the car from an idiot. Then Ethan saw something that made his stomach drop. A new post. From Malik. Same garage. But this time, the camera was closer. On the wall behind the Ferrari, barely visible in the dim light, a framed blueprint. Hand-drawn. Dated 2011. Title at the top, Ferrari 488 Pista. Engine architecture, M.J. Coleman. Caption, asterisk, some things you can't buy. You build them. And sometimes they come back home. Asterisk. Ethan read it 3 times. Then he put his phone face down on the table and sat in silence for 20 minutes. Outside, Dubai kept moving. Cars honked. People laughed. The world didn't care. But somewhere in a small garage in Al-Quoz, a man who'd been forgotten was being remembered. And the car he designed 12 years ago was finally parked where it belonged. Not in a showroom. Not on Instagram. Home. 3 days later. Malik's garage in Al-Quoz looked the same as it had for 12 years. Faded metal door. No sign. 1 lift. Tools older than most of the cars he worked on. But the street outside? Changed. 6 supercars were parked along the curb. A Lamborghini Aventador. 2 McLarens. A Porsche GT3 RS. A Bugatti Chiron. And a classic Ferrari F40, gleaming red under the desert sun. Their owners stood in a loose group near the garage door, some checking their phones, some just waiting. Inside, Malik was under a lifted Audi R8, welding something with sparks flying like tiny stars. His assistant, a young Emirati kid named Rashid, poked his head under the car. Boss, there's more outside now. That's the 6th one today. Malik didn't stop working. Tell them the same thing. Wait list is 2 months. They're offering W rate. Still 2 months. Rashid hesitated. There's also someone else. Malik slid out from under the car, goggles still on. Who? Rashid swallowed. Ethan Pierce. He's been sitting in his car across the street for 20 minutes. Malik pulled off the goggles slowly. He say what he wants. No, just sitting there. Malik grabbed a rag, wiped his hands, and walked the garage door. Outside, the supercar owners immediately perked up. Mr. Coleman, I've been waiting since. Malik raised a hand gently. I know. I'll get to everyone. Promise. Then he looked across the street. A black G-Wagon sat under a streetlight, engine off, tinted windows. But Malik could see the outline of someone in the driver's seat. He walked over, knocked on the window. The window lowered. Ethan Pierce looked different. No sunglasses. No smile. Hair uncombed. Eyes red like he hadn't slept. He didn't say anything. Malik leaned on the door. You been out here long? Ethan's voice came out quiet. About an hour. Why? Ethan stared at the steering wheel. I don't know. Malik nodded slowly. You want the car back? Ethan shook his head. No. I want to apologize. Malik straightened up. You already did. On your live. Saw it. That wasn't real. Silence. Ethan finally looked at him. I didn't mean any of it. I was just trying to stop the bleeding. My sponsors dropped me. My dad's lawyers are threatening to cut me off. I lost 300,000 followers. So I apologized because my manager told me to. Malik didn't react. Ethan continued, voice cracking now. But the thing is, I watched the video again. The one where I mocked you. And I saw my face. And I didn't recognize myself. He wiped his eyes quickly. I've spent my whole life flexing things I didn't build. Cars I didn't earn. Respect I didn't deserve. And in 30 seconds, you showed me what I actually am. Malik crossed his arms. And what's that? Ethan's voice barely a whisper. Empty. The street was quiet except for the hum of the city in the distance. Malik looked at the kid in front of him, because that's what Ethan was really. A kid with too much money and not enough purpose. Why are you telling me this? Ethan took a shaky breath. Because I want to learn, not from a YouTube video, not from my dad's money, from someone who actually knows what it means to build something. He opened the glove box, pulled out a folded piece of paper, and handed it to Malik. Malik unfolded it. It was a check, made out to Malik Coleman, for $2 million. Malik stared at it. Ethan spoke quickly. I'm not trying to buy the car back. I'm trying to, I don't know, pay for my stupidity. Donate it. Do something that isn't selfish for once. Malik folded the check and handed it back. I don't want your money. Ethan's face fell. Then what do you want? Malik thought for a moment, then pointed at the garage. You see those 6 cars out there? Ethan nodded. They belong to people who think money solves everything. They want me to work on their cars because I'm trending, not because they respect the craft. He leaned closer. If you really want to learn, show up tomorrow. 6 a.m. bring work boots, not Balenciagas. And leave your phone at home. Ethan blinked. You're giving me a job? I'm giving you a chance. There's a difference. Malik turned to walk back to the garage, then paused. And Ethan? Yeah. If you show up, you're not Ethan Pierce, influencer. You're just another guy trying to figure out how an engine works. No cameras. No followers. Just you and the work. Ethan nodded slowly. I'll be there. Malik walked back across the street. One of the supercar owners called out, Mr. Coleman, will you look at my McLaren today? Malik didn't turn around. Not today. Inside the garage, Rashid was waiting. You really think he'll show up? Malik picked up his welding torch again. No idea. And if he does? Malik slid back under the Audi. Then maybe he's not as empty as he thinks. The torch sparked to life, and the garage filled with light. Outside, the G-Wagon sat for another 5 minutes. Then the engine started, and Ethan drove away slowly. The check still sat on his passenger seat, uncashed. And for the first time in 3 days, he didn't open Instagram. That night, 11:47 p.m., Malik sat alone in the garage. The Ferrari uncovered beside him. He wasn't working on it. Just looking. 12 years ago, he'd drawn the blueprints of this engine in a cramped apartment in Maranello. Worked 18-hour days. Skipped meals. Believed that if he just made something perfect enough, they'd have to see him. They saw him. They just didn't want anyone else to. His phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Mr. Coleman, this is Ethan. I just wanted to say thank you for not treating me like everyone else has the last few days. I'll be there tomorrow, 6 a.m. I promise. Malik stared at the message for a long time. Then he typed back, bring coffee. You're going to need it. He set the phone down, stood up, and ran his hand along the Ferrari's hood. The car was finished, fully restored, better than it ever was. But he wasn't ready to drive it yet. Some things he'd learned are worth waiting for. The right moment, the right reason. And tomorrow, at 6 a.m, he'd find out if a kid with too much money and not enough sense could become something more. Because if Malik had learned anything in 12 years of being invisible, it's that everyone deserves a second chance. Even the ones who don't deserve it. Day 1, 5:47 a.m. Malik stood outside his garage, coffee in hand, watching the empty street. 5:50 a.m. Still empty. 5:55 a.m. He took a sip, tasted nothing. 5:58 a.m. A black G-Wagon turned the corner, moving slow, hesitant. It parked across the street. For 30 seconds, nothing happened. Then the door opened. Ethan Pierce stepped out, wearing old jeans, a plain white t-shirt, and work boots that looked brand new. Stiff. never worn, no phone in his hand. He walked across the street, stopped in front of Malik. "I'm here." Malik nodded once. "Coffee?" Ethan shook his head. "You said to bring it." "I forgot." Malik handed him his own cup. "Then you owe me one tomorrow." He unlocked the garage door and walked inside. Ethan followed. 6:03 a.m. The garage smelled like oil, metal, and years of hard work. The black Ferrari sat in the corner, covered. Malik didn't look at it. Instead, he pointed at a workbench covered in tools, wrenches, sockets, screwdrivers, all scattered and dirty. "Clean those. Organize them by size. Oil the moving parts. When you're done, we'll talk." Ethan stared at the bench. "That's it." Malik turned, voice calm but firm. "You want to learn how engines work. You start by respecting the tools that build them." He walked to the lift where the Audi from yesterday still sat, half finished. Ethan stood there for a moment, then picked up the first wrench. 8:42 a.m. Rashid showed up with breakfast, shawarma wraps and juice. Malik and Rashid ate near the lift, talking quietly in Arabic. Ethan stayed at the workbench, hands black with grime, sweat already soaking through his shirt. He'd organized maybe a third of the tools. His fingers hurt. The cheap work boots were giving him blisters. Rashid glanced over. "He's slow." Malik didn't look up. "He'll get faster." "You really think he'll last?" Malik took a bite, chewed slowly. "We'll find out." 11:26 a.m. Ethan finished. Every tool cleaned, organized, oiled, lined up perfectly by size and type. He walked over to where Malik was lying under the Audi, spark plug in one hand, phone light in the other. "Done." Malik slid out, stood up, walked to the bench. He ran his hand along the tools, checking the alignment, the shine, the small details. Then he picked up a torque wrench, tested the ratchet mechanism. Smooth. Perfect. He set it down. Good. Ethan exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for hours. Malik handed him a rag. "Now clean the floors." Ethan's face fell. "The floors?" Malik walked back to the Audi. "Oil stains, metal shavings, dirt. Sweep it. Mop it. When you're done, we'll talk." He slid back under the car. Ethan stood there, rag in hand, staring at the massive garage floor. For a moment, his old self almost came back. The anger, the pride, the "do you know who I am?" But then he remembered the video, the comments, the empty feeling. He found the broom and started sweeping. 2:14 p.m. A silver Porsche 911 Turbo pulled up outside. The owner stepped out. Sheikh Rashid Al Maktoum, mid-40s, elegant dish dasher, sunglasses that probably cost more than the Porsche. He walked into the garage, nodded at Malik. "Malik." The car's making a noise. High-pitched, only when I accelerate hard. Malik wiped his hands. "Bring it in." The Sheikh drove the Porsche onto the second lift. Malik popped the hood, listened to the engine for 10 seconds, then reached in and pulled out a tiny piece of metal. Loose heat shield, vibrating against the exhaust. He tossed it aside, closed the hood. "Fix." The Sheikh laughed. "How much?" "Nothing." Took 5 seconds. The Sheikh pulled out his wallet anyway, placed 500 dirhams on the workbench. "For your time." He noticed Ethan in the corner, mopping the floors, face red, drenched in sweat. "Is that Ethan Pierce?" Malik didn't look. Just a kid learning how to work. The Sheikh stared for a moment longer, then shook his head, smiling. "The world is strange, my friend." He got back in the Porsche and drove off. Ethan kept mopping, pretending he didn't hear. 5:38 p.m. The garage was spotless. Ethan stood in the middle of it, every muscle screaming, hands blistered, completely exhausted. Malik finished with the Audi, lowered the lift, and walked over. He looked at the floor, at the tools, at Ethan. "You did good today." Ethan's voice came out hoarse. "Thank you." Malik pulled 2 chairs over, sat in one, gestured to the other. Ethan collapsed into it. They sat in silence for a while. Then Malik spoke. "You know why I had you clean?" Ethan shook his head. "Because the people who only want the glory never last. They don't respect the process. They don't understand that every masterpiece starts with dirty hands." He looked at Ethan. "You showed up. That's the first step. Tomorrow, you'll learn to change oil. Then brake pads. Then spark plugs. In 6 months, maybe you'll touch an engine." Ethan sat up. 6 months. Malik smiled. "You thought you'd be building Ferraris in a week?" Ethan laughed, tired but real. "Yeah, I guess I did." Malik stood up. Go home. Rest. Be back at 6 tomorrow. Ethan stood too, wincing. Malik, yeah. Why are you doing this? After everything I said, why help me? Malik looked at the covered Ferrari in the corner. Because 12 years ago, someone told me I didn't belong, and I spent a decade believing them. He turned back to Ethan. I don't want anyone else to spend their life believing a lie. Ethan's eyes watered just a little. He nodded, too emotional to speak, and walked out. That night, 8:52 p.m. Malik sat alone in the garage again, the Ferrari beside him. His phone buzzed. An email from legal@ferrari.com subject. Formal request for meeting. Mr. Coleman, *, we are reaching out on behalf of Ferrari SBA regarding recent events and media coverage. We would like to discuss a potential resolution and extend an invitation to meet with our executive team in Maranello at your earliest convenience. *, please let us know your availability. Respectfully, Luca Moretti, CEO. Malik stared at the email for a long time. Then he closed it. Not tonight. Tonight, he was just a mechanic in a small garage, teaching a kid how to hold a wrench. And for the first time in 12 years, that felt like enough. Outside, the city hummed. Inside, the Ferrari waited. And somewhere across town, Ethan Pierce fell asleep for the first time in days, hands blistered, body sore, but mind finally quiet. Tomorrow would come soon enough, and with it, the next lesson. 2 years later, the garage in Alquoz looked different now. Not bigger, not flashier, just fuller. Where there used to be one lift, there were now 3. Where tools used to scatter across one workbench, there were now 6 benches, each one organized perfectly. And where Malik used to work alone, there were now voices, young voices, learning, questioning, building. 6:42 a.m. Monday morning. Malik stood outside the garage, same coffee in hand, watching the sun rise over the industrial district. A small van pulled up. 6 teenagers stepped out, ages 16 to 19. Pakistani, Somali, Filipino, Egyptian. Tool bags over their shoulders. The Coleman Vocational Automotive Program. Year 2, class of 32 students. Funded by Ferrari Settlement. Not $180 million, but $8 million after taxes and legal fees. Enough to run a small school for 10 years, if managed right. Malik greeted each one by name. Rashid, how's your sister? Better, sir. The medicine worked. Good. Amina, you finished that brake assembly? Yes, sir. Want to check it? After class. They filed in, chattering in 3 different languages. Malik followed last, pausing at the doorway. Above the entrance, a small bronze plaque. M.J. Coleman Automotive Training Center. *, built by hands that refuse to hide. *, no glass tower, no gold letters. Just a garage that taught kids how to build their own futures. 7:14 a.m. Inside. The students gathered around a disassembled Honda Civic engine on the center workbench. Malik stood to the side, arms crossed, watching. One of the students, a 17-year-old named Ethan, stepped forward. Not Ethan Pierce, just Ethan. He dropped the last name a year ago, said it felt like carrying someone else's baggage. He pointed at the engine block. Okay, so the piston rings here. If they're worn, you'll see oil burning blue in the exhaust. Check the cylinder walls for scoring, and if it's bad, you're looking at a full rebuild. The younger students nodded, taking notes. Malik watched silently. 2 years ago, this kid couldn't tell a spark plug from a lug nut. Now he was teaching. When the demonstration ended, Malik walked over. Nice work. Ethan wiped his hands on a rag. Thanks. Still feels weird, though. What does? Them listening to me. After everything. Malik leaned against the bench. You earned it, not by apologizing, by showing up every single day for 2 years. Ethan nodded, then hesitated. Malik, can I ask you something? Go ahead. Why didn't you go back? Malik frowned. Back where? Ferrari. They invited you. Twice. Once for the settlement. Once after that to be chief engineer again. You said no both times. Malik looked around the garage. At the students pulling apart transmissions. At Rashid sketching a turbo design on a whiteboard. At Amina teaching a younger girl how to torque bolts properly. Because going back would have been about me. Staying here is about them. Ethan stared at him. You gave up millions to teach kids in garage? Malik smiled. I didn't give up anything. I just chose something better. 3:47 p.m. afternoon break. The students took lunch outside, sitting on crates and toolboxes, eating shawarma and talking trash about whose project car would be fastest. Malik sat alone in the corner of the garage, scrolling through his phone. An email notification from Luca Moretti, Ferrari S.P.A. He opened it. Mr. Coleman, asterisk, I hope this message finds you well. I am writing to inform you that Ferrari has officially updated our historical records and internal documentation. Your contributions to the development of our V8 and V12 engines between 2008 and 2013 have been formally credited, asterisk. Additionally, all future limited edition models in the XX program will carry a dedication plate in your honor. I know this does not undo the harm caused, but I hope it is a step toward making things right. Respectfully, Luca Moretti. Malik read it twice. Then he closed the email and set the phone down. No reply needed. 6:28 p.m., end of day. The students packed up, said their goodbyes, and headed home. Ethan stayed behind, sweeping the floors. His ritual now, even though no one asked him to. Malik watched from the doorway. You don't have to do that anymore. Ethan kept sweeping. I know, but it reminds me. Of what? That I used to think I was above this. And now I know there's nothing more honest than a clean workspace. Malik smiled. You graduating next month? Ethan nodded. Yeah, got a job offer at a shop in Sharjah. Small place. Good people. You taking it? Ethan stopped sweeping. Actually, I was thinking of staying. Help you run the program. If you'll let me. Malik tilted his head. You sure? It's not glamorous. No fame. No followers. Ethan laughed softly. I had all that. It was the emptiest thing I ever owned. He looked Malik in the eyes. I'd rather build something that lasts. Malik extended his hand. Ethan shook it. Welcome to the team. Later that night, 9:12 p.m. Malik sat in the black Ferrari, now matte gray, repainted years ago, stripped of all the flash. He didn't drive it much anymore. Mostly kept it as a reminder. The glove box was empty except for one thing. A small, faded Polaroid. Malik at 19, standing in his mother's garage in Chicago, holding a homemade turbocharger he'd built from scrap metal and hope. On the back, in her handwriting, asterisk, they'll try to make you invisible, baby. Don't let them. Asterisk, she'd passed 3 years ago. Never saw the viral video. Never saw the settlement. Never saw the school. But she'd seen something more important. She'd seen him refuse to disappear. Malik closed the glove box, started the engine, and drove out into the quiet Dubai night. No crowd, no lights, no spectacle. Just a man who built engines and futures. Final scene 1 month later. Graduation day. 32 students stood in the garage, wearing matching blue coveralls with their names stitched on the chest. No stage, no speeches, just Malik handing each one a toolbox, real professional-grade tools. Their first set. When he reached the last student, a shy 16-year-old girl from Ethiopia named Hannah, she whispered, Mr. Coleman, why did you do all this? For us. Malik knelt down so they were eye level, because someone once told me I didn't belong, and I spent too many years believing them. He handed her the toolbox. I built this place so you'd never have to. Hannah's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. Malik stood, addressed the whole class. You're not mechanics now because I taught you. You're mechanics because you refuse to quit. Take that with you. Everywhere. The students applauded. Not loud, not dramatic. Just real. Epilogue. White text on black screen asterisk. M.J. Coleman Automotive Training Center has graduated 127 students in 2 years. 89% found employment within 6 months. Asterisk 0 tuition. 0 discrimination. 100% opportunity. Asterisk. Asterisk Malik Coleman still works in the same garage. Still wears the same overalls. Asterisk. Still believes that talent doesn't need permission. Just a chance. Final image asterisk. The garage at dawn. Empty except for Malik, coffee in hand, waiting for the next class to arrive. Above the door, the bronze plaque catches the first light of morning. Fade to black. The end.